Hey everybody, I'm Amanda with DevExpress and welcome to today's first webinar introducing the Coderush Server presented by Chief Scientist of the IDE team, Mark Miller. In this session, Mark will preview the new Coderush Server for Azure DevOps services designed to help you monitor the health and quality of your entire code base, one solution at a time. This session is being recorded and it will be made available on our DevExpress YouTube channel later today, and we will also send the link to the recording in a follow-up email. We will also do a live Q&A at the end of this presentation. Just type your questions in the GoToWebinar control panel at any time throughout the broadcast. All right, thank you so much for joining us. I will now hand things over to Mark.
Thank you so much, Amanda. Thank you everyone for being here. So Team Coderush has been working on a new product, Coderush Server, which we're going to show you a little bit about that today. It is in CTP right now. Community Technology Preview. It is an Azure DevOps extension. It has seamless integration into the Azure DevOps pipeline, and it supports C# and Visual Basic. And in the CTP, we give you test case run analysis, code coverage analysis, and diagnostics and code issues. These are based on many of the same features that we had in standalone version of Coderush, which is an extension for Visual Studio, and we've moved those over into the DevOps space so that you can integrate that into your build process. Here's an overview, a picture of how it integrates with the pipeline, but I'm actually going to demo this and show this for you firsthand, so we don't need to spend too much time on this. Just again, that overview of those three pieces we give you in this CTP: code coverage, test run results, and code issues. And what's neat about this, in the presentation about this, is that it gives you kind of this overview, but also the ability to kind of drill down in and look at the individual pieces. These are things that we actually don't give you inside of Coderush itself. We don't have the kind of overview charts, and we don't have the ability to compare against previous builds, compare two builds together, that sort of thing, like we're offering on Coderush Server. So it's a little bit more visual and a little more explorative, and also spans a larger group of time. So with that, let me just kind of get right into it. I want to let's bring up, hold on a second, bring up the dashboard. Here it is right here. So I've got a sample project up here in the Azure DevOps space. It is the XML comparer, and I'm on the Coderush Dashboard page right here. And so if you install this extension, you're going to get a page over here that you can select and to bring up our dashboard. And this is it. And we're at this point, you can see the summary here. We've got code coverage, which is essentially nothing. We have no lines of code that are covered. We have a test summary. We have no tests. And even with no tests at all, we do have a diagnostic summary here. So we can see, for example, it looks like we have one error right here, and maybe 7 infos, and one hidden piece right there. So there's some diagnostics. So even if I don't have any tests at all, I can still get some results from that. Let me just go out here and talk to the team here. I'm concerned that we don't have any tests, and so I want to send them a message so that they can get us those tests and start working on those. And so let's do that. And okay, cool. So it looks like they are on that, so that's good. While that's the case, while they're working on that, let's talk about integration. So for integration, it's pretty simple. All you need to do is go into the pipelines here, go to your builds, and then you just come up here and click at it on your build. And then you'll come over here and you'll click add, and then you can just type in Coderush or code, and it'll filter out the list. This is what you want. This is the Coderush Server analyze behavior. Now we can just take this, drag it across. You want to put it right after your Visual Studio solution build, and you put it there, set any properties that you want. I've actually got that already built in, so I don't need to do it a second time. I can come in here. We'll go ahead and remove it, but it's that easy to add into the process. So very, very cool stuff there. Looks like we got a message from our dev team here. It says test cases are done. It's good we added those. Code coverage is currently at about 73%. Okay, excellent. Well, that's good. Let's go take a look at that. And so we'll open that up and we'll say, thanks, guys, for the hard work. And let's come over here, take a look at it. And so now we can see some changes. Now we can see we actually do have code coverage at about 73%, which is excellent. And over here you can see, in fact, let's kind of zoom in and zoom into this. Whoops, that's the wrong key. It's that one right there. All right, and then we can kind of zoom into this. We can take a look at this. So here our code coverage has gone up by 73% right here. Over here, this is my total number. I've got 336 statements that are being covered and 124 that are not over here. And so we can see kind of my overall percentage of what's happening there. Let's jump back out. Also in test summary, we can see some changes over here as well. Let's go zoom into that. And we can see that, okay, overall test cases, we have 19 now, and that is an improvement. And we have 6 failing, and we have 13 passing right here. So let me jump out of that a second. Let me jump back over here to the slides because I just want to kind of drill into this and give you a sense of what's happening here. So with all of these summary dials right here, we can look at the numbers here. There's essentially going to be 2 sets of numbers for any of these figures and maybe an optional indicator right here. And the number on top is the current total for that particular indicator, whatever it is. So in this case, I've got ignored tests. I've got 95 that are currently ignored. The number on the bottom is the change since the previous build. So if we come over and we look at, we look over here, now we have our build right here and our baseline right there. So this is showing me the change since the baseline. And if I had more than one baseline, I could navigate among those or select it from a particular date that I want to compare with. All right. And in addition to these two, if we can get a sense of overall health, improvement or decline, we will indicate it with one of these markers right here. So that's the health indicator. So in this case, we previously had 2 errors, two failing test cases in this case. And we dropped by 1, we fixed one of those. And so therefore our health has gone up in terms of the change between the baseline and this one right now. By the way, I'm noticing out in the chat room, they've got some questions out here. Dave Desmet is asking, where can we download it? I will tell you where you can get it. In fact, let me see if I can get that to you right now as an answer to that question right now. You want to go out to this page right here. Let's see, I'm hitting enter. Is it sending it out? I can't tell if it's sent out or not. It looks like it has. There it is. Okay, so that page right there, and I'm going to put that in the chat room as well. I'm going to put this page out here for anybody who is who wants to get to this right now and start looking at this and signing up. That's how you can get to it. I'll probably put that at the end as well. So that's what these look like right here. So if it's in black, high contrast black, you're seeing the current total, and if it's in the lower contrast medium gray, then it's showing you the change since the build in terms of numbers. Okay, and then percentages, if it's a percentage change, you'll see a percentage indicator next to it, like we have right there. Excellent. Well, that's not bad, but I'm noticing we've got some failed tests right here. In fact, one of the test summary reports here is the new failed test piece. So I can click on this right here, and it'll give me a report of the new failed tests. I can see I've got 6 of them, and if I open them up, you can see the difference is shown here. Oh, this has been added, and there it is. And I can click on it, and if I click on it right here, I'll actually see the line of code that failed highlighted for me. So it gives me a nice overview of what the team is doing and what changes they're making. I feel like I should talk to the team about this a little bit. So kids, we've got like 6 test cases that are failing there, and I would like you guys to work on that. And looks like they do apparently know about the 6 cases failing. That's a good thing. So let's let them work on those. And while they do that, why don't we look at the code coverage on this? So we've looked at the test run results a little bit on this. And by the way, you don't have to, if you want to get kind of an overview and you don't want to go to a specific one of these reports, you can just click the link up here at the top. So if I click on test summary right here, that will give me, take me out to here. And I can similarly come in here and say, well, maybe show me only the passing tests, for example. I want to see those. And so I can filter in that way. I can similarly, I've got kind of a hierarchical kind of grouping here. Here's the class. If I turn that off, I can just group by namespaces instead. And I can turn that off as well and simply group by the solution by the project. Or I can just turn that off as well and just see everything side by side like this. So I have those abilities there. I can also get to this page by clicking right here, the test page. This button will get me to the dashboard. This gets me to the tests. This will get me over to code coverage. And so we can take a look at code coverage here. And again, we have the same kind of ability to take care of our grouping. So I might say, let's take away a project and namespaces and just look at our classes and see what we've got here. So we can say, okay, well, our event args don't have much coverage, which means we're probably not triggering any events inside of our test cases. But we can drill into any one of these and take a look at what is happening on each particular line. Right now we're highlighting the entire function or method, but in the next release, we anticipate that we will actually show you the individual statements that are covered and which ones are not. By the way, in the standalone version of Coderush that works inside of Visual Studio, you will see what lines are covered and which ones are not covered. So looks like we've got another message back from our team. They're telling us that the test cases are now fixed and that code quality is apparently improving. That's excellent. Let's take a look at that. They say that code coverage is now at 84%. Thanks again. Nothing like a responsive team on this, right? Let's take a look at that and we'll see what it looks like now that they've checked in those new changes. And we can see, yes, in fact, code coverage has incrementally gone up a bit. In fact, we see right here, it's gone up by 11%. So it was previously at 73, now it's up to 84%. And now that we've got a few builds and we've checked a few of these in, we can actually change our baseline here, for example, and go back in time and compare that. And you can see now, instead of going up by 11%, we're going up by a full 84% right here. So, so very cool how I can change which of my comparative baselines I want to look at right there. So that's great stuff there for the code coverage, great for the test summary. I'm liking all of that, but nothing has changed over here. We've got zeros underneath all of these here. Nothing has changed, so we've made really no improvements there. I really feel like I want the team to, take a look at that. So I'm going to ask them, hey, what about those diagnostics? Can you guys take a look at that and tell me what you think about that? And they say, sure, let me check with Eugene. So, okay, cool. I'll let them check with Eugene and we'll do that. And while they check with Eugene, let's go in and actually look at these diagnostic summary and take a look at that. So if I just click the link here, we'll come in here and we can kind of drill in here. We can see what's happening in all of these different issues. Basically, we're giving you a hierarchical organized list by project and namespace and class of errors, warnings, information, and hidden items as well. And so what we can do is we can go through there and we can click on these. For example, created exception was not thrown. And we can look at that and we say, oh, geez, yeah, looks like the team forgot to put a throw right there, for example. And let's see what we have here. Arguments do not appear to match the string's format items. So let's look at that and see what we can see here. So I have one. Let's zoom in on this so it's easier to see. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 format strings, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 parameters passed in. So here's an example of one of the diagnostics that Coderush is running. So all of those diagnostics that we ship with Coderush are essentially being put in here into Coderush Server. So we can do checks like this to find things that might pass by the compiler, but might otherwise be problematic. If we filter this out and look only at the errors, we can come in here. It looks like we've got one error, and it is the return task is null. So here we need to create a task and return it, and that's clearly an error there. So we should definitely work to fix that. Okay, well, it looks like we've got a reply back from the team. It says Eugene says the code issues are corrected and the changes are checked in. Let's go take a look at that. We're going to load up those new changes. Thanks so much, guys. Really, really appreciate the hard work. Great for you guys to be, really appreciate that you guys are making these fixes and changing the code live during my demo, and you're just happening to get everything done just in the right amount of time. So I'm just very grateful for that. All right, so take a look at our diagnostic summary over here. We can now take a look at the changes. Let's zoom in on that so we can see it. So we've got 0 across the board. Everything is now good. And we have these health indicators, green up arrows, all the way across the board as well. And if we're interested to see what happened, we can see, well, okay, we had 9 issues that in the previous baseline, and those are all gone now. We dropped those down. We had 1 error, that's been fixed. We had 7 hints, and we had 1 hidden item as well that we were that has been corrected. So all of those fixes have taken place. We can go in and bring up the diagnostic summary if we want to, but with 0 issues, it's going to be pretty boring with no data at all. But that's it. That's what we've got so far. Let me go back over to the slides. Again, thanks to the team for helping us out. And I'll kind of give you a summary of what we've got right now in the CTP. We've got the dashboard, right? We've got the ability to just click on this link here for the Coderush Dashboard, see these items right here, go through your code coverage analysis, your test summary, your test runs, and then which are running, which are failing, the ignored tests, explicit tests, and also your diagnostic summaries as well, with the ability to drill in, look at the code right there from the dashboard, see what's wrong, and then direct the team as it makes sense. And to also see trends, right? You can see trends through those up arrows and those down arrows, right? Are we moving up or are we moving down? Are we improving in quality or declining since the baseline? The test run results, here's a screenshot of that, and we've seen that as well already, where you were able to see places where the code was failing, and your code coverage and your code issues. And with that, there's that link, and if you go to the chat room, it's out there as well. You can click on this link right here, and that's going to take you out to this page where you can click on here to join the beta. And once you join the beta, look for that confirmation email, and that will tell you how to install and get started with it. One last thing I want to leave you with is this blog right here. You can click on that link right there. I'll click on it as well. And this is a blog from October 22nd, where I just basically talked about these features and what we've got out there. This is in development. We are responding and listening to suggestions coming from folks who are beta testers out there. We are very interested in making this into a very high quality product, something that you find useful. So let us know what you think. Try it out. Let us know what you think. Is it providing value? Is there something else we could add? That sort of thing. Let's see what I say. I've got one of the questions here. It says, love what I see, but as we're working for government and executive, we can't use it on Azure, says Chris Benner. So Chris, there is a chance that this will come out as a standalone kind of product that you can integrate into your build process. So there are possibilities that you might be able to do that standalone locally, and or because it's government restrictions, maybe there's not an ability to do that. But if you had a different build process, or you wanted to do it locally before you ran your build on Azure, you could maybe use the standalone product if we were to bring that. So if that's something you're interested in, if there's a way that you can see that we can solve this problem for you, Chris, let us know. And because it's not hard to take this and move this to a different place. So I'll say that. And basically as always, we are very interested in what our customers want and where they want to do that. We do have Coderush Server available for TFS right now. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and register with it. Let us know that if you're using TFS, and we can get you access to that. Okay. Amanda, I'm going to pass it off to you. I don't think I've seen any other questions there. It looks like we've got that there we've handled all the questions I see so far.
Yes, you have.
Not bad, like 20 minutes. I just ran right through that at high speed.
You really did. All right, Mark, thank you so much. All right, everybody, like I mentioned before, today's webinar will be made available later on our DevExpress YouTube channel, and you will also get a follow-up email with a link to this webinar recording sometime next week. We do have one more webinar coming up today at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, What's New in 18.2 for Dashboards, Reporting, and Analytics. You can register at devexpress.com/webinars. And that is it for this one. Thanks so much to Mark. Thank you all for joining us. And of course, thank you for choosing DevExpress. Bye-bye.